I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I got a question today. Is it worthwhile to repair the chuck on a Millard Falls 120B? Well, this is a Millard Falls 120B. It's one of the ones that I have on the shelf. I've cleaned it up, but I haven't done a whole lot to it. It has a nice little way of changing the gear. You press on this button on the side, and that pops a little latch pin up, lets you pull the main gear out, and you can switch back and forth between the two locations for the gear. Now, as far as the chuck goes, these can be kind of a bear to get apart. First, you have to spin it off that fine thread. It's a lot of thread there. I made up a little fixture. All I did was take a 2x4 and drill some holes in it so that I could put the chuck into it and then clamp the chuck down. That way the wood wraps around the chuck and grips it and lets me take it out of there. Now, most of these chucks you're going to see jaw marks on the outside of them, because somebody got the bright idea that they were just going to take a pair of channel locks and pull it out of there. Well, that works. And on this one, which I've had apart and cleaned several times, it's not a problem. But you want to be careful. The springs just slip into the holes. Once you have all three springs engaged, they tend to want to stay there. Now, to reassemble it, you slip the springs, you slip the jaws with the springs in them into the hole, and once you've got them in there, they don't want to fall out. The springs hold them in place. Then this goes into this pocket in the screw with this face up, because that's what actually pushes on the chuck jaws and makes them close. Then, making sure that that little disc doesn't fall out, you screw it back in. You take it down until that's tight. Now, I just hand tighten it because I never have a problem with this chuck actually coming apart while I'm using it. But if you're concerned, you put it back into the adapter. And the way this one works, I just clamp it into the vise, and that latches it down. Then I take my wrench and I tighten it up. Like I said, I don't usually tighten these up because they're a good enough grip that I seldom have a problem with them coming out. Then you just screw the chuck back onto the shank. As the screw enters the body of the chuck, it pushes against that little plunger. The one that I told you had to have go in a certain way. And that rides on top of the screw and pushes against the back of the chuck jaws, shoves them up the incline, and causes them to close. So the 120B is actually a pretty easy one to work on. Only problem people have is getting this chuck body apart. As you can see on this one, it's been manhandled. Somebody took a pair of pliers and screwed up the knurls and gripped a hold of the body of the chuck and yanked on it. Now that happened before I got it, but considering the price of the item, I figured it was a good deal. So that's how you go about disassembling and reassembling the chuck on a Miller Falls 120B. Pretty simple. The springs I've never had to buy. I don't find them with them broken. But I'm sure there's some place in the world that you can get a hold of them. I will do some research and see if I can come up with one, because you just might find one that's got a bad spring in it. If you have a suggestion for a new video, like this one today, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments below. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.